Before we take a peek on the inside, how about we watch a little bit of how I put this thing together. Let's get to work. I made the case for the tool cabinet much like I made the case for the sawtill. They're both a box that's dovetailed together with a paneled back. On the sawtill, I made the panel out of one piece. On the tool cabinet, the panel was made out of 3 pieces of resawn maple held together with stiles and rails that were made out of walnut. I used a French cleat system to hang the cabinet onto the wall, and I used that same system inside the cabinet to hang all my tool holders. That way, as things progress or I buy a new tool, I can move things around as I want to. When I built the doors were made much like the case in their construction, but they didn't have a panel. They get a face frame that will become carved to be the tree. And they get that same French cleat system to hang the tool holders. Now that you've seen how I made the case, we can look at how I made the doors. The doors were really fun. It's a framework with a panel set up in the center of it. The panel is curly maple with leopard wood leaves and then walnut stems coming out the back. It all got cut up and shaped by hand to look like the tree and have the Art Nouveau sweeps on it. For the framework of the door, I used loose tenons or slip tenons, and I kept them low so that I could carve in quite a bit of relief on the face of it. Then I marked out where I needed to keep for the framework of the door, the square case that it was going to be attached to, and then I was able to carve and cut away what I thought would be fun to make it look like the tree. Once I had the shape I liked, I put the loose tenons in there and I was able to clamp it up and take it to the router table to cut the channel in that would hold the panels. To cut that channel in, I used a slot cutter that was about a 1/4 inch thick by, it cut a 1/2 inch deep, and I went all the way around the inside to make this channel. Once I had the channel cut all the way around the inside of the framework, I could slip the panel underneath of it and mark out the exact shape of the cutout that I had made. And then using a set of calipers set to the depth of the slot cutter, I went around and marked out how to oversize the panel. And then I could cut out the panel to fit into the openings of the door. I was really happy that my son got to help me on this project. He was in charge of doing the cutting out of the patterns for the leaves that we would inlay into the face of the doors. And then we took those patterns and we cut them out of the leopard wood. It was about 1/8 inch thick. And we traced that out onto the door panels and then routed out a opening to stick them into. And then once they were stuck down, I would cut out the section that would become the stem and then glue that into the assembly as well. And the way that the panel was made was really fun because you can see, as I open the cabinet doors, the mirror image of the branches on the inside. And then you can also see the modular, this French cleat system that I put in here to hold all the tool holders. I have quite a few holders left to make, and I'm sure as time goes on, I'll want to trade them out and make a new one for that space. And they're really easy to put together. It's a doweled cleat that gets set into the back of the holder. Like this holder right now I'm working on for my dividers, so I'm putting the Lost Art Press Anarchy A there. And that's going to be my divider holder that's going to go in there. This whole side is going to be for measuring and marking and all the accurate measuring tools that I use there. And then on this side is going to be the cutting and the shaping side. So you can see on this side of the cabinet I have my shaping and my cutting side, where I keep all my files and my rasps and my saws. I use Japanese saws and back saws quite a bit. So I have my Japanese saw holder that has 3 saws in there, and it has yet to have the facade put onto it. I'm going to make a little kind of a pagoda looking thing to go on there. And then last year I made myself a set of back saws that have maple backs instead of metal backs. And one has a carved handle and one has a smooth handle. So I mimicked that in the holders. And I used the same leopard wood leaves from the front as the stops to keep the saws from falling out of the holders, and they just slip out of the way. And they turn out really nice. And I love this. This system is so great because at any time I want to, I can just move it around and transfer it and put it in a different spot if it works out best for me. I have a variety of carving rasps and files, and one of the best tools that I've found for shaping wood, besides the files and rasps, is the microplane setup. It's just a plastic handle, but it has these a variety of different shapes of steel heads, and they just snap in, and you can use them on the push or the pull stroke. And I used to have to go hunt these things down through the shop. I had them spread all across the world. Even if I had them in a box, I had to go look for it. Now I can just pop the drawer out of the tool cabinet and take it with me, and I have them right there at hand. I have all the different heads ready to go. So that has been a wonderful addition. Everything in here can be moved at a moment's notice if I want to move things around and change the look of it or change the layout. It's really simple. And that's going to, I think, be a nice thing for me to have over time. Everything's not going to be set in stone. So if I change the way I work, or I change the, where I want to reach for something, I can move it around really easily. It was a lot of fun to put it all together, and I'm really excited to start using it now. I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago that I just came up with this idea to make a cabinet with a really crazy facade, all sculpted and like a tree. And at the time I didn't know what setting to use it in. I didn't know if it would lend itself to kitchen cabinets well, or some end tables or nightstands. I didn't know. So it kind of sat on the back burner for a long time, until about a year ago I decided that, I've been blessed with getting to do a whole bunch of really crazy projects and have a lot of fun doing it. And I thought, well, I really got to make some videos about this stuff. I really got to share this with people, because this has been too fun. So I thought, well, I could do that, but I'd have to show them, on this old dusty plywood bench top. I thought, well, I can make myself a nice space so that people can see it, and it doesn't look like a dusty garage, which this is a dusty garage, but you can't tell. So it worked out good. But light bulb went off, and it was, hey, there's a great opportunity to use that tree cabinet idea. So a year of planning went into it. I started drawing up ideas and saving the wood and saving up money and waiting for the right time, a really slow time to jump on it. And it took me 2.5 months to complete the 2 cabinets and the bench. I don't want to do the how-to thing. You want to learn how to make some dovetails. There's thousands of videos on YouTube on how to make dovetails. I just wanted to share the fun stuff that I've been doing. I don't really want to come across as an instructor on how to do it this way, and I'm not that rigid. I might share some fun projects like the crazy dovetails I did here. I might do, you know, something like that, just show you how I did it. There's only so much you can learn from watching the YouTube videos and reading woodworking magazines and books, but they don't give you any feedback. It's not like being immersed in it. I mean, you can go out to your shop and make all the mistakes in the world, and that'll teach you a lot. But there's nothing like going and taking a class from an instructor that can really point you in a good direction. Last year I was fortunate enough to go up to Portland and go to the Northwest School of Woodworking with Mr. Gary Rogowski, and I took a 3-day class there on chair making. Loved it. Awesome. Great opportunity. You can learn so much in 3 days that it would take you 3 months of goofing off in your shop and studying constantly to even come close. So if you get a chance to take a class, by all means do it. Find a local woodworking class. There's so many around the country, around the world, that you can go and really find amazing teachers to teach you how to do woodworking. I look forward to sharing with everybody what I've been working on and what I get to do in the future. I think it's going to be a wild ride and a lot of fun. I hope you guys get inspired by some of the fun stuff I get to do, and I'll try and maybe show you how I do it along the way. Like I said, I'm not an instructor. I'm not perfectly versed in woodworking. I just somehow pull it off. So thank you very much for watching all this remodel. It's been a ton of fun doing it, and I'm glad I got to share it with everybody. Thanks.